It's a bright and wintry morning in Davos, and we're in conversation with one of the leading titans of India Inc., Dr. Anish Shah, the Group CEO and MD of Mahindra and Mahindra. Thank you very much for talking to Money Control. Sir, let me start with global macros. It's been a big week. Trump has taken charge. He's signed off on a series of executive orders. How will this reshape supply chains, tariffs globally? What will it mean for a conglomerate like you that has global ambitions?
So it will create a fair degree of deglobalization based on what we see so far. But we're also sensing a lot of optimism because the focus of the government in the US will likely be on the economy, on growth, and that's going to be good for the world. So there's going to be a trade-off between growth and some level of barriers. From our standpoint, it doesn't impact us a lot. We've been in the US for over 25 years. We manufacture tractors in the US, and therefore our business will continue to go strong. Tech Mahindra has a lot less dependence on H-1B visas today as well, and therefore we are looking forward to growth in the US and in India as well.
Right. In terms of the perception about India, about Prime Minister Modi, who's now in his third term, what are you picking up from your conversations here at Davos?
Very positive. The India story has continued to grow from strength to strength. I've been in meetings with various global CEOs, and what I heard last year was, again, a lot of positivity, but people still looking at India and saying, how should we play there? The narrative this year is we have to play there, and we're just going to go there and figure out what we need to do. And therefore, India has clearly come on the map, and something that's very important for all global CEOs.
Right. We are just a few days away from the union budget. In recent weeks, there have been concerns about a consumption slowdown. The GDP numbers, the advanced GDP estimates haven't been very encouraging. What can the government do to spur growth in the current environment? What kind of levers should they pull?
The positives we saw in the budgets over the last few years has been the fact that Capex was prioritized, because Capex has a greater multiplier than any other incentives. And therefore, from an industry standpoint, we would like to see a fair degree of that continue, because that's good for the economy long term. Yes, there will likely need to be some level of incentives in certain pockets of the economy. And that's something that could be positive as well. But overall, we are not very concerned. We see green shoots in rural India, and that augurs well for our tractor sales. So there will be some blips along the way, but the fundamentals of the economy continue to be very strong.
Right. With rural consumption, government spending and private investments, you've identified these as key drivers. You've drawn up expansive Capex plans, I think around 30,000 crore over 3 years. That's what you told us recently, spanning electric vehicles, solar energy and farm machinery. How much will you deploy in the current fiscal and where?
At least 1/3. We are moving fast on our plans. And our EV launch has been very successful as well. So from all those perspectives, we continue to be very bullish, and we continue to drive growth.
So 1/3 would be what, 10,000 crore FY26?
It is never going to be exact, because it depends on what investments are required where. But we are at this point in time well ahead of our plans in terms of Capex as well as growth.
Will you need to raise money for this? Will it come from internal cash flows and accruals?
We don't need to raise money for this. We have enough cash, and the cash accruals are very strong as well. So as we outlined before, each of our three major verticals, auto, farm and services, are generating enough cash and more to be able to service their growth right now.
Right. In terms of your plans to ramp up EVs, where are you now? Where do you see yourself at the end of the fiscal?
I've always mentioned, Chandra, that it starts with products. Once you've got a product that a consumer looks at and says, wow, that's what I want, then the EV penetration will start growing. We have those now with the two products that we released, the BE6 and the XCV9E. And we are seeing very, very positive feedback from customers. And with that, the range anxiety is addressed as well. We've got over 500 kilometers in real life conditions, 650 to 700 kilometers in rated metrics for range. So we see electric really starting to take off in India. And we also feel very proud that we can develop products in India that are what we feel among the best in the world.
Right. In terms of, you previously spoke about evaluating opportunities in emerging areas like healthcare, drones, and consumer related segments. What sub segments will you look at?
So we continue to look at that. We haven't quite found the right opportunity as yet, and we are patient. For us, it's important to be able to do it in a way where we can generate returns that are higher than industry, and we can build a scale business. Our current businesses are growing at a very rapid pace, and therefore we will be very particular about where we enter, and when we do so, we will do so with scale.
Right. You've mentioned before, sir, that there will be listings of many growth gems of M&M. And anything that we can expect in the current fiscal, which is IPO ready, in your perspective?
Not in the current fiscal, but there will be some that will be ready in the next 2 or 3 years. That's not a key priority for us in a sense because we don't need capital. There's enough capital that we have a number of private equity investors are very keen to partner with us as well. And from that perspective, our focus is on growing businesses for the long term. And along the way, we will look at an IPO, but that's not really a top priority from our standpoint.
Right. Are there any new areas that the Mahindra Group is considering entering into, such as, niche engineering or semiconductors or any other such emerging sectors which are critical for the economy going forward?
Not beyond what we've spoken already. And here again, we feel that we play today in 70% of India's growth, and we've got businesses that are very well positioned. So our first focus is let's grow those businesses really well. We will look at one new area as we've talked about, but that's an area that we will look at in scale and in a manner that can generate additional returns for us.
Right. Final couple of questions. How does this whole realignment of supply chain help the Mahindra Group, particularly the new tariff regime, the China plus one sentiment?
I think it's very positive for India, and that makes it very positive for the Mahindra Group. We are seeing a lot more investments in India. We want manufacturing in India to be a great story, and that is something we are starting to see now. Innovation, R&D, products, cost of manufacturing, all of those are factors that play a big role. And based on all the trends we see, based on what we've done from a product standpoint as well, we feel that India is starting to make a case for being the manufacturing hub of the world. And if we continue on this journey, India should be positioned very well, and that's great for the Mahindra Group.
Right. Final part of the interview. Are you happy with the progress at Tech Mahindra? You've had a new CEO, Mohit, joined, I think, a year ago, and he outlined a 3-year turnaround plan. Are you happy with the progress so far?
Yes, I am. The plan has been laid out. It's a very clear plan. A number of steps have been taken to have delivery excellence be a key focus. There is a very sharp focus on margins, and over the next 2 years we shall see that plan being played out, and then we will look at further horizons and further aspirations from there.
Finally, sir, I can't let you go without asking you about AI. Because, that's another big theme this year apart from Trump. How are you infusing AI in the group? Because you can do it on the manufacturing side, on the services side. How are you going to go about it?
We are doing a lot in AI. We have a team of about 250 to 300 people focused just on AI. Manufacturing is a huge area. There are a number of projects that are driving productivity on the shop floor, higher quality of products, better service, better wait times for customers. So AI is going to be a major driver of growth from our standpoint. And our teams are very well positioned to be a leader in that space.
These are data science professionals, the two?
These are data science professionals.
Great. On that note, thank you very much for talking to Money Control, sir. Thank you.
Thank you.